For nearly half a century, a garage in the Hollywood Hills sat untouched, its doors sealed like a time capsule from another world. Behind those walls lay the hidden story of a man who brought millions to laughter yet carried secrets he never meant to share. That man was Moe Howard, the stern-faced leader of the Three Stooges. What could have been so important that it had to be locked away after his death? And when it was finally opened, why did what lay inside send shockwaves through fans and collectors alike? Today, we unravel the mystery of Moe Howard's hidden garage and uncover the story behind the laughter, the struggles, and the legacy of a comedy icon. Moses Harry Horowitz, better known to the world as Moe Howard, was born on June 19, 1897, in Brooklyn, New York. The youngest son of Jewish immigrants, Moe's early life was shaped by both hardship and ambition. He wasn't the best student and left school before graduating, but his passion for performance was undeniable. From a young age, he was drawn to the stage, sneaking away to see plays and films, memorizing lines, and mimicking actors. Moe's distinctive look, that famous bowl haircut, wasn't originally a gag. It was a style his mother gave him as a child, and he kept it, later turning it into a comedic trademark recognized around the world. But Moe's story wasn't one of overnight success. Before Hollywood came calling, he spent years in vaudeville, scraping by with small roles, traveling shows, and endless auditions. What kept him going was not only his own ambition, but also a belief that laughter could carry people through the hardest of times. Moe's career truly began to take shape in the 1920s, when he joined forces with comedian Ted Healy, along with his brother Shemp and later Larry Fine. Moe helped form the nucleus of what would become the Three Stooges. Their comedy was raw, physical, and often chaotic, a blend of slapstick violence and quick-wit. By 1934, Moe, Larry, and Curly had broken away from Healy, officially forming the Three Stooges. Under Columbia Pictures, they began producing short films that would cement their place in comedy history. The shorts were only 15 to 20 minutes long, but they were packed with energy, with Moe often playing the bossy, short-tempered leader, dishing out eye pokes, slaps, and head knocks. Their humor was often dismissed by critics as lowbrow, yet audiences couldn't get enough. During the Great Depression and World War II, the Stooges gave people an escape, a chance to laugh when the world felt unbearably heavy. What few realized was that behind the laughter, the Stooges were struggling. Columbia paid them a flat fee per short, roughly $7,500, which was split 3 ways. That meant each Stooge earned only about $20,000 a year, far less than other Hollywood stars of the time. Worse still, there were no residuals. When their shorts replayed endlessly on television decades later, the Stooges didn't see a single penny. Moe was practical. He invested in real estate and lived modestly, never letting the illusion of Hollywood wealth blind him. But this financial injustice haunted him, and perhaps played a role in what he chose to preserve in his final years. By the 1950s and 60s, Moe's career had slowed. Though the Stooges continued to tour and appear on television, Moe was no longer a young man dishing out pratfalls, but he never lost his sharp timing or stern on-screen persona. Off-screen, however, Moe was deeply private. He was a devoted husband to his wife Helen and a loving father to their children. While his on-screen character often appeared harsh, in reality, Moe was thoughtful and disciplined, with a strong sense of responsibility to his family. In 1960, Moe and Helen settled into a modern home in the Hollywood Hills at 9061 Thrasher Avenue. It was a peaceful single-story home with 3 bedrooms, a pool, and a sprawling 27,000-square-foot lot. Behind the house was a garage, built solid and functional, a space that would later become the subject of mystery. When Moe retired in the mid-1970s, his health began to decline. On May 4, 1975, Moe Howard passed away at the age of 77. Just months later, in October, his beloved wife Helen also died. Their home was left behind, but one part of the property was deliberately sealed: the garage. Why was the garage locked? Family sources suggest it was Moe's wish. Some say he didn't want his belongings disturbed. fearing they might be lost, stolen, or misused. Others believe Helen ordered it sealed after his death, hoping to protect his memory from the prying eyes of the public and the press. Whatever the truth, the result was the same. The garage remained closed, its contents untouched for decades. As the years passed and the property changed hands, the garage became a legend among collectors and Stooges fans. What could be inside? Was it just household clutter or a treasure trove of Hollywood history? It wasn't until nearly 50 years later that someone finally unsealed the garage. When the door creaked open, decades of dust filled the air. The first rays of sunlight touched objects that had not been seen since 1975. What they found was astonishing. Parked side by side were two Cadillacs, frozen in time. The first was a 1950 Cadillac Series 60 sedan, a car of elegance and status, with a 5.4-liter V8 engine producing 190 horsepower. It was a car built for smooth, dignified travel. Wide bench seats, chrome trim, and a commanding presence. It was the kind of vehicle you'd expect from a man who valued comfort and tradition more than flash. Next to it was Moe's everyday car in his later years, a 1967 Cadillac Sedan DeVille. Sleek, modern, with wraparound windows and leather interiors. It represented understated Hollywood luxury. Power windows, air conditioning, wood trim, all hallmarks of an era when American cars symbolized success. Though covered in dust, the vehicles were incredibly well preserved. Their leather interiors were intact, dashboards uncracked, and engines relatively free of rust. Decades of being sealed away had protected them from sunlight, moisture, and decay. But the cars weren't the only treasures waiting inside. Beyond the Cadillacs lay rows of boxes and crates, neatly stacked like a personal archive. Some were labeled, others left blank, but all carried an air of significance. Inside were items that offered a rare glimpse into Moe's personal and professional life. Studio ID cards, handwritten notes, scripts marked with jokes and edits, and signed checks from the 1970s. One particularly remarkable find was Moe's handwritten story outline for Punch Drunks, one of the Stooges' most famous shorts, Margins. Filled with notes, gags scribbled in pencil, timing cues, it revealed the creative mind of a man who was more than just the on-screen boss, but also a shaper of their comedy. Auction houses later confirmed the value of such items. Moe's 1940 Columbia Pictures ID card sold for nearly $12,000. His Punch Drunks outline fetched close to $10,000. Posters, lobby cards, and rare memorabilia from films like Uncivil Warriors and Calling All Curs went for tens of thousands of dollars. Personal items were just as moving. Letters to Helen, poems, and notes to his daughter Joan painted a softer picture of Moe. Far from the gruff character fans knew, he was reflective, loving, and often vulnerable. When news of the garage's contents surfaced, fans were stunned. Some felt excitement. A treasure trove of Stooge history had been saved. Others felt a bittersweet sadness. Why had Moe wanted it sealed? Was it meant to remain private, untouched forever? On forums and fan groups, people debated. Some argued the items should have gone straight to museums, not auctions. Others believed Moe himself would have wanted his legacy preserved and shared. One thing was clear: the discovery reignited interest in Moe's story, reminding fans that behind the laughter was a man who carried both pride and pain. Today, Moe Howard's legacy lives on in museums like the Stoogium in Pennsylvania, where over 100,000 Stooge artifacts are displayed. Fans still gather for events, screenings, and reunions. In July 2025, descendants of Moe, Curly, and Shemp reunited publicly, for the first time, honoring their family's comedic heritage. Fans described it as emotional and historic, proof that the laughter Moe created continues to bind generations together. The garage at 9061 Thrasher Avenue stood silent for nearly 50 years, protecting the final chapter of Moe Howard's life. Inside were not just cars, boxes, and papers, but pieces of a legacy that defined comedy itself. Moe once said, "The greatest gift you can give someone is laughter." For generations, he gave that gift freely, and even in death, through the treasures preserved in his garage. Moe continues to remind us that laughter, love, and legacy are worth protecting. So, what do you think? Was Moe's sealed garage a hidden treasure meant to be discovered, or was it a private sanctuary, never meant to be opened?